On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Adam Cole provides an update on Kyle O'Reilly's recovery, Dragon Lee is dealing with some visa issues, and Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn is set for Elimination Chamber. Folks, running your favorite wrestling move to some wrestling news. You should already know what to do by now, okay? Because it's time for the Turnbuckle. I can't even believe I gotta say it. Adam Cole has provided an update on Kyle O'Reilly. O'Reilly underwent neck surgery in September and hasn't wrestled since the June 8th, 2022 edition of AEW Dynamite. He announced last month that he's been dealing with a post-surgical issue that he says will be revealed at a later date. Cole spoke about O'Reilly during an appearance on Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave Meltzer and Garrett Gonzalez. He noted that he speaks with O'Reilly every day and that he's doing well in his recovery. Cole said he's doing good. Kyle's doing really good. Again, he's in a situation now where he's working so hard to make sure that he gets healthy as soon as he possibly can, but at the same time, making sure that he doesn't rush back. Kyle was really banged up, and it got to a point where he kind of couldn't take it anymore. I'm so glad he got fixed and he got healthy, and he's recovering day by day. Early on in the process, I think he was really discouraged because there was so little that he was able to do, but now as time goes on, and he's starting to be able to do more and more in therapy and rehab and stuff like that, you see that excitement and the wheels turning of him already thinking about how he can't wait to get back. He's in good spirits, and he's got lots of people around him who love him a lot. There is no timetable for O'Reilly's return. Similar to O'Reilly, Cole hasn't wrestled a match since last June. He last performed in an AEW ring at Forbidden Door on June 26, 2022. So this is not the first time that I've been like, oh, I'm sure they're fine, and then you find out that they're injured. I'm pretty sure, O'Reilly, I'm pretty sure Adam Cole did that. So I remember like way back in the day when the whole like being the elite, when the whole Undisputed Elite thing finally formed, and then Bobby Fish left and a big, like the flash in the pan, that kind of happened. And then Kyle O'Reilly left. And Kyle O'Reilly kind of just like silently slipped away. At least that's what I thought. Because Adam Cole got a concussion and he had to go. Now, I thought Kyle O'Reilly left because he was having a baby. I genuinely thought that he was pretty much on like maternity leave, and he was pretty much doing that. And I was like, literally the whole time, right up until this point, I was like, oh, Kyle O'Reilly's fine. Everything's great. He's dealing with his family. He'll be back shortly. You know what I mean? Takes a while to, figure out how to, take care of a baby and all that. He'd be fine. But apparently, he's injured. I had like literally no idea, so I'm just now finding out about this. So far, though, he's doing well. This is kind of what I like to hear, that they're pretty much already like knee deep in the recovery process, you know what I mean? And so far, that's pretty much what they've been doing the entire time. And Adam Cole is pretty much saying, like, at first he was a little bit, sluggish and depressed, really, because, you don't want to be injured, and, it really takes a toll on you, and it kind of, like, holds you down, and it slows you down a little bit. But it's good to know that, according to Adam, everything is, turning around, and he's feeling a lot better. And like he said, he's got people that care about him and stuff like that. So he's in, like, a really good, like, what's the word? He's in a very positive area. So his mentality is going to be very, like, fortified and positive. I was trying to think of another word. I couldn't think of anything. Yeah, man, we're just going to have to wait and see when he's going to end up back in a wrestling ring. So hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. Next, we're going to talk about Dragon Lee and how he's dealing with visa issues. Dragon Lee's WWE NXT debut has been impacted by visa issues. The 27-year-old has been earmarked for NXT since announcing he signed with the company in December. Lee's situation was addressed by Dave Meltzer on Saturday's Wrestling Observer Radio. Meltzer said, I'm sure they wanted to introduce Dragon Lee at NXT Vengeance Day, but he's having visa issues, so he's not there yet. Lee's 3-year contract with WWE is said to be for, quote, above the standard NXT level money. He will receive a new contract if he is called up to the main roster, with the plan being for this to happen in 2024. The bottom number for WWE main roster contracts is $250,000. Meltzer also addressed reports that NXT stars will begin working independent shows. He noted that while Shawn Michaels stated on a media call that Ivy Nile working a reality of wrestling event is a one-time thing, the promotion believes NXT stars will be available to them periodically. Meltzer said, from what I understand, as far as the reality of wrestling goes, they expect that they will be able to get some NXT stars from time to time. There are several other companies that have been talked to with the idea that they may be able to get NXT stars, but the Booker T thing has to go well. And if it goes well, there are other companies. And I think they are targeting companies that have a good relationship with AEW and see what they can do. That's part of it, of course, too. The part that confuses me is the fact that they're targeting companies that have a good relationship with AEW. I don't necessarily know what that means. Part of my first thought was like, oh, they're doing that thing where they go to the rival companies, like, independent promotions, and they're like, hey, we can do it better than them. I don't necessarily think that that's what's happening. I think what they're doing is they're trying to, like, imagine a big field, and there's, like, big open areas, but every now and again, you'll see, like, farmhouses, and I assume WWE is like, okay, there's more farmers on that side of the field. So maybe I should put my farm over there, because that probably means I'm going to get decent crops instead of going to the patch of field where no one is, because that probably means that there's no healthy grass or water over there. So I'm just going to go over there. And I think that's what I think. I don't know. Okay. I don't know a lot of things. All right. This is one of them. I think that's what's happening. I think WWE is like, let's go to the independent areas, promotions, right, that have a good relationship with AEW, because I guess that means that they're easy to work with, and they're going to be negotiable, and there's going to be people there that they could probably sign. Like, that's what I feel like. That's what's happening. I think they're getting like a charcuterie board of like, okay, what can we do with this? I don't know. That is my best speculation. So yeah, Dragon Lee's got a visa issue. It's not going to be any. That seems to be the only thing that's like plaguing everybody right now. I mean, if you're not injured, you're literally just not there because you don't have the proper papers, and that's literally it. There is no in between. You are either recovering from an injury that you received, or you're waiting for somebody to sign their name on something so that you can get it, and then you can walk on a plane and go here, and then go, okay, cool. Two things. We're just going to have to wait and see when Dragon Lee's actually going to show up. Hopefully his visa situation gets taken care of sooner rather than later. And we're going to have to wait till we hear some impactful news about this whole, not so much reality of wrestling, but just the overall independent wrestling scene as a whole for NXT Superstar. So only time will tell when that's actually going to happen. Finally, we're going to be talking about Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn and how it's set for Elimination Chamber. Roman Reigns will be defending the WWE Universal Championship at Elimination Chamber later this month. The end of Friday's SmackDown saw Reigns telling Zayn he'd see him in Montreal on February 18th after Zayn had challenged him earlier in the segment. The show ended with Jimmy Uso and Soul Sikoa attacking Zayn. Reigns, throughout Friday's show, attempted to get in contact with Jey Uso, who walked away at the Royal Rumble after the rest of the Bloodline attacked Zayn for attacking Reigns. On Friday, Reigns came out and talked about what led to Saturday, saying it dated back to War Games. Zayn came in through the crowd under a hood and attacked Roman, hitting with a spear. Reigns bailed the ring and started to head towards the back as Zayn issued the challenge. Sikoa and Uso then came in through the crowd and jumped Zayn. Reigns returned to the ring and accepted Zayn's challenge, blaming him for the dissension in the Bloodline. At first, my argument was like, this doesn't really seem necessary because we already know he's not going to win. He's not. And, okay, bro, there's so much like happening in my head. All right, it doesn't make sense for him to win. It just doesn't. It just feels weird. It feels like it'll be like a random like bump in the road, right? And in kayfabe wise, like timeline wise, it just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Sami Zayn even went on an article. I forget how recent it was, but it wasn't like too late. But he was like, yeah, can I be the face of the company? And I believe it. I believe he could be the face of the company. Unfortunately, he doesn't believe it in himself. But I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, whose story is this? Who are we following? This is like The Walking Dead. I thought The Walking Dead was Rick Grimes' story, but then didn't he die like later on in the series? So like, who have we been following this whole time? Like, what is this about? I thought it was Sami Zayn. It would make a lot of sense if it was Jey Uso, because in the beginning, Jey Uso didn't want to join, right? Like, I was thinking about how this is pretty much the Uso storyline. Because, I mean, when Roman wasn't here, the Usos were, like, doing their thing. And then Roman showed up and then went, oh, Bloodline, by the way. And then the Usos were like, okay. Well, Jimmy was like, yeah, sure. And then Jay was like, I don't know, you know. And that's pretty much what's been going on this entire time. And then Sami got involved. Only time will tell. As far as I know, though, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to do something absolutely wild and zany. And we're just going to have to wait. Get it? Zany? We're just going to have to wait and see what that wild and zany thing actually is. What are we talking about? Adam Cole talks about Kyle O'Reilly. So Kyle O'Reilly, he underwent neck surgery in September, okay? He hasn't wrestled since June 8th, and he's been dealing with a post-surgical issue that says will be revealed at a later date. So, God, you hate hearing about that, huh? You hate hearing about that. That happens a couple times with wrestlers, because that happened to R-Truth. R-Truth was like, yeah, I was getting surgery on my knee, and then, he was like, yeah, my knee got infected, so I had to get surgery again. So, yeah, man, you know, that's really scary, man. That's really scary. Dragon Lee, like, geez Louise, like, let's see, Pac, Kenny Omega, Tyler Bate, literally like half of the NXT UK roster, pretty much, like, dealing with visa issues. Dragon Lee is no stranger to that. I think that's just one thing. If you're not an American wrestler, you just have, at one point, you just have to say to yourself in a mirror, I am going to have these issues. I'm not going to be able, where am I right now? Not America? Okay, I'm going to have a very difficult time getting to America and then coming back. Yeah, so they were also talking about how they were going to put NXT wrestlers on independent shows and how they weren't going to start doing it just yet. They wanted to see how reality wrestling does, which makes a whole lot of sense, and then they were going to continue on with that. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that turns out. Roman versus Sami. Again, at first I was like, ooh, I don't know, should we be doing this? And then I was like, you know what? if we do this, I feel like they're not going to muddy it up. They're going to do it the right way. We just have to wait and see what the right thing actually is. I don't think any titles are going to change. What I think is going to happen is something absolutely bonkers. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Jay's going to come back and he's either going to betray Roman or he's going to side with him, or Kevin is going to come out like Jay and then Kevin. That's what I'm thinking. If not that, then Jay or Kevin and then Jay. One of them, both of them. Something's got to happen at Elimination Chamber, because there's no way you're about to have a championship match where we know who the winner's going to be, and then he beats him clean, and that's it. Because that would just be, again, like I said, that would just muddy everything up. It'll be this weird bump in the road that didn't really need to be there, that could have gotten, like, flattened out. So, we're just going to have to wait and see what that is. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.